Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar this morning. We have a few moments. We do have some more people that are coming in, and I just want to welcome you all and let you know that we will be starting in just a few moments. And while you are waiting for us to get started, I will put in the chat a couple of links for you to go to remind you of some of our upcoming events. And also, if you haven't already, you can visit our conference page to learn about our conference that is coming up next year. So I will put that link in the chat as well. So that way you can go on to that page and take a look at our conferences that we have coming up. All right, we'll go ahead and get started, everyone. Again, thank you for joining our webinar this morning. We are delighted to have a couple of our team members on our webinar, Krystle Conrad and Isaiah Hagan. They will be presenting on Introduction to Report and Document Layout in Business Central. And just as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. And you can find our library under our resources tab on our website at innovia.com. And we do encourage you to ask questions during our presentation, so please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will answer them at the end of our session. So now I'm going to turn it over to Krystle and Isaiah to kick off our presentation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar where we're introducing you to report and document layout. Are you still using the out-of-the-box boring report layouts? Have you looked at your sales invoice and thought, the font really didn't reflect my style? Do you want to spice up your order confirmation by adding pictures? Do you have information showing on your purchase order report that's not necessarily needed and should be removed? Creating a customized report in Business Central is not as scary as it may sound.
Thanks, Isaiah. I'm excited about our session today. So before we get started, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Krystle Conrad. I came to Innovia 1 year ago after sitting in your seat from the end user side. I have been a NAV and BC user for over 5 years. I have a passion for processes. However, reports have become near and dear to my heart because I get to show my creative side.
And I'm Isaiah Hagan. I am a junior application consultant here. I just graduated from our Innovia University program. Innovia University is a program that Innovia created in order to introduce new consultants into the BC world. So I'm basically in your shoes and I will be learning about reports alongside of y'all. To give you an overview of some of today's bullet points, we're reviewing what is a report, key steps to success when customizing, creating custom report layouts using Microsoft Word and RDLC.
To start, let's define what a report is. Now, I know some of you may be laughing because this seems like a very easy question, but there is definitely confusion out there between reports and documents. In BC, the term report actually covers both. A report includes customer and vendor-facing documents, normally those that are sent via email, such as customer statements, sales order confirmations, and purchase orders. Some other examples include your sales invoice and purchase invoice. A report also is any internal document such as pick tickets, assembly orders, inventory receipts, and anything printed and used internally. A report can also includes your check layout, and a lot of people forget about that one as being a report, but it definitely is. And any other report that is used internally to show data, such as your trial balance detail and customer item statistics.
Now, Krystle keeps telling me about these 4 steps to success when it comes to customizing a report. Those steps are find your report number, customize the report, import and test, and then assign your layout, import and test, and then assign your layout. And I cannot wait to dig into each of these and learn more.
Slow down, Isaiah. Well, you will get there for sure. But before we go any further, I feel like it's worth repeating the last step, only because this is one that I often forget. I get so excited and I import my layout and test, and then I realize I forgot to assign it. So assigning the custom layout deserves 2 spots on our slide today. Now that we got that out of the way, let's take a deeper dive into each of the steps and then finally get our hands dirty and customize a report. The first step is to identify which report number you're using. Let me show you a little bit about that. There are a few different ways to see what report number you're currently using. The easiest way, in my opinion, because everybody likes that easy button, is to search report selection and then select the functional area that you're looking at. In our demo today, we're going to be customizing a sales order confirmation. So we would search report selection -sales. At the top under usage, just like the screenshot shows, we would select the report that we're looking for, which in this case is order. The report ID here is what your company is currently using for this report. In this case, it's report number 1305. The most popular method, though, that I have found is to go to your document using your normal process, but stop at the print page and then take a look at the page inspection, which a lot of us call Zoom, by hitting Control Alt and F1 on your keyboard. So there you'll see on the right-hand side, under page inspection, it shows standard sales order confirmation report 1305. Lastly, the harder method is to search report layouts and then browse through the list of all report IDs. You can view the reports by selecting Run Report in the ribbon. This one can definitely become time consuming. As you can see, there's a lot on this page and you can just continuously scroll to see all the available reports. So Isaiah, I'm going to put you on the spot here since you're learning along with our listeners, and let you drive and share your screen and pick one of the methods in your BC company for the sales order confirmation.
Okay, I'm going to take over the screen from here. So I am going to use the Zoom method. So let me pull up a sales order.
You're going to take the most popular method.
Yes, it has become my friend.
Okay, so here you actually want to get to the point where you're just about ready to print your confirmation. Yep. So before you hit preview, you're a happy clicker. There you can see on the right-hand side that your page inspections shows report 1305. So your Cronus company is actually the same as our screenshot. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and preview that confirmation? Because while we're in here, I want to let's pick one thing from this order confirmation that you would change.
Okay, we'll give it just a moment and see what to change. While we wait, what have you noticed that users want to change the most?
Oh, that's a really good question. Typically, it's adding fields or removing fields that aren't needed. That's usually what we see the most. Oh, look at your beautiful confirmation there.
Well, looking at it, I want to highlight the total, make it really stand out.
Oh, okay, the $17,000 at the bottom?
Yes.
Okay. So just, Isaiah, take note of this order number. And when we get to our next demo after a couple more slides, we can go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay, so step 2 is customize. Here, we take our report number from step 1 and add a custom layout. To do this, we need to search custom report layouts in Business Central. You will get a list page similar to the one attached here. From here, you can see that there are some built-in additional versions of the layout of this report ID we can use if we would like. But to create a new layout, however, we would select new, that's highlighted, enter our report ID, and then choose the insert Word or RDLC version. So we would have to enable one of those Booleans. From there, we definitely recommend copying the built-in layout and then changing the description to keep the integrity of the BC layout and to keep track of who modified the report and when. So let's go ahead and demo that part. Isaiah, can you share your screen again and pull up the custom reports layout for the sales confirmation report 1305 that we looked at previously? Okay, so let's just add another version. So you'll want to hit new at the top. Yep. And then enter your report ID, so 1305. And then in this case, let's do insert Word layout. And hit OK. Okay, so here you'll see that it inserted a copy of the built-in layout, and over to the right, there's a column that shows the type. So what I recommend is taking a copy of that layout, just so, like I mentioned, we keep the integrity of the Business Central layout. So to do that, you'll want to click on that line, anywhere on that line's fine, and then hit Process, Copy. Okay, so that created a copy of a copy. Now, in that description, you can actually just, I typically put No, you'll want to go down to the next row. There we go. So in that one, like I normally rename my custom layouts. I just put my initials and then the date that I'm working on it, just so we know and can kind of keep track. But you could obviously, put the description, anything that you would like. So from here, since you have that row selected, go to Layout and then Export Layout. Okay, and then we're going to open that file. Yep, and go ahead and hit Enable Editing. So now you'll notice that Isaiah does not have the developer tab in his ribbon up top. To enable this, you need to go to File, Options, Customize Ribbon, and then click on the developer tab there and hit OK. This part is key to adding any new fields to the report. So you definitely want to make sure that you're doing that before you get too far down the road of customizing. Another thing you'll notice is that the report, the wording looks like it's in another language. Each of the fields and boxes are pulling in the specific information that is showing from BC for that specific sales order. Sometimes it can be a little bit challenging to determine what each of the fields represent. From here, Isaiah, you can change font, add highlighting, and edit just like you would in Word. So why don't you go ahead and highlight the US totals at the bottom. And you can make it, yep, you can actually do that whole row or just the one field, either way. Yep, ta-da. Okay, so that was easy, right? You can do the same thing to change font. So let's say we want to make our customer address 1. Let's make that bold and make it a little bit bigger, right? So yeah, perfect. Okay. And last, let's go ahead and let's add a new field. So to do that, you're going to want to create a new text box, just like you would in Word. Yep. Yep, and you can just delete all of that good old standard information. And then let's go to your developer tab. And click on XML mapping pane. And then over to the right, you'll see not the drop down arrow right under XML mapping pane, but the other one. Yep, right there. So go ahead and click on that and then scroll the whole way down till you see your report ID. Yep, that very last one. So go ahead and click on that. And then here you can hit the arrow, yep, to expand your list of options under the header. And let's go ahead. I know it's not necessary in this case because you already have a customer address, but for the sake of time today, let's just go ahead and add the customer address again. So yep, you would want to scroll down until you find customer address. And because your cursor is still in your text box, you can right click on the customer address and then do Insert Content Control and Plain Text. Okay, so you'll see that this entered your field name in our text box. So you could do this with any field you have available in that XML mapping pane. So Isaiah, if you scroll down a little bit on the XML mapping pane though, I just wanted to point out that there is, this is all information that would be in that header level. But keep going because there should be a line detail. Yep, so right there, this information would be anything on your sales line. And then as you can see, it kind of keeps going assembly line, and then you'll get into report totals. But depending on what field you want to add to your report, you may just need to open up all of those options to find what you're looking for. And if you would be looking for a field that doesn't exist on your XML mapping pane, that would be something that you would have to reach out to Innovia for, so we could have a developer add it to the report to be used. Okay, so maybe before we move on from here, let's delete a field. Okay, so Isaiah, do you see a field or any part of this that you don't like that you want to get rid of? Maybe let's use that company legal office. Maybe we don't want our customers to see our legal office, right? So to delete, yep, you'll just click on the box, and then until you want to click on the box until you see that box right above it appear. Nope, you had it. There you go. And then just select delete. Or you can just right click and delete. There you go. Okay, so we got rid of that one. And so this one actually looked like it was two boxes or two fields combined. So you can do the same thing to remove that. Perfect. So for adding, deleting, and moving fields, make sure though that you're not in a table. A lot of times the line information is a table. And you'll know that a field is in a table if you click on it and you see at the top, like yeah, there you go. You kind of have a row that's all together, and then you have your header information right above it. That indicates that your information is in a table. If you're wanting to modify that, it can be a little bit tricky. So that's not something that we're going to cover today. It's more of an intermediate level webinar. But certainly, reach out to Innovia if you have that requirement, and we can help. Okay, so Isaiah, go ahead and save this. Yep, and maybe just for now, just title it 1305 Word. Okay, so you know where this is, just make sure that you remember where it's saved. So when we go to import it, it's available. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing to the report using RDLC. So just go ahead and X out of Word for now. And just for the sake of time, Isaiah already downloaded Microsoft Report Builder. So that is definitely something that would be required to modify the report using RDLC. The next step here would be to select New. And I do see you already have a copy of the built-in layout there, but just for the demo, we're going to create another one. So go ahead and enter your 1305. And in this case, you could enable your insert RDLC layout. Now, I'll tell you a little secret. I like using Report Builder better than Word. I know that's probably not a popular choice, but I find Report Builder a little bit easier to use. But let's export it and then you can tell me what you think, Isaiah. Oh, good job. Yeah. Now, if you wouldn't have a copy of the built-in layout already there, you would have wanted to make a copy of that one and then rename it. But you're good since you already have a copy of the built-in layout. Okay. So we'll go ahead and export. And then go ahead and select to open the file. Okay, so you'll see this looks similar to Word in that it appears to be a different language. You'll see expressions. Sometimes they're all over the place and that can be a little bit challenging, but you can tell something is an expression when it has the EXPR at the very top there, right under document title. But for the most part, this report, it's kind of pretty clear. Like you can see what each field represents. Okay, so let's go through and do the same modifications that we did to the Microsoft Word report on this report. So I think you started with highlighting your total. Yep. Now here, you're actually, if you would change it there, you would change your font color. So go ahead and hit cancel to get out of that, and then click off for just a moment. Yeah, and now click on the box, but you don't want to get the blue highlighting like you had previously. There you go. Now go ahead and right click. Try to click off again. Maybe click on the box right above it, the field right above it. Okay, so now click back down to the totals. Now right click. There we go. That's what we want to see. The text box properties is where you want to go for your fill color or highlighting. Perfect. So from here, you can select your fill color to highlight. Now, oh, Isaiah, you are a happy clicker today. One thing I wanted to just show, and this is another reason why I love RDLC, is because there's that visibility tab. And RDLC allows you to hide or show a column or field based on what value pulls in from BC. So that's really cool. And I like the fact that I can add those expressions without having to go through a developer. Again, that's probably an intermediate or advanced RDLC class, but I just wanted to show and point that out. Okay, so now that we have the totals highlighted, let's go ahead and make your customer address number 1. We can go ahead and change the font on that. Perfect. So we made it bold and then we made it a little bit bigger, I believe, too, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so that one, you can see it kind of looks like it's going to get cut off there. So if you want to grab, see, this is a table for sure. So if you want to grab that row, just like you would in Excel, and make that, expand it so it's a little bit bigger. Perfect. Okay, so the other thing that we did previously, right, in Word is we added a field up at the top, another customer address. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. We don't need to add a text box because since this is in a table already, there is an empty field there for us, kind of in that middle column. So Isaiah, there you go. Previously, you had the whole row highlighted or selected. Right now, you only have that one field selected. So to add the field name, let's go ahead and click on that teeny tiny little box in the right corner. Yep. And that's going to open up your available field list, similar to the XML mapping that we saw in Word. So go ahead and find your customer address 1. There we go. Ta-da. Perfect. But I will go ahead and show you if you want to add a field that isn't in a table like this, you can go to Insert at the top. And then there's that Insert Text Box option. Okay, so you actually cannot insert a text box inside of a table. So maybe let's go, let's take that text box, hit the text box again there. If you go ahead and click on it. Okay, and then go right above the customer postal code. See if it will let you add in a text box there. It may not. Okay.
Well, just for intermediate, that's definitely something we can do the next time because I really want to learn the basics today.
Well, I totally understand, but this will drive me nuts, Isaiah. It should definitely work. So I'm going to actually request control. And this is a reason why some people do not like RDLC, because it's kind of finicky, and until you know these insider secrets, it can be difficult to use. But if I do the insert text box, okay, see, it did actually put a text box here for me, and then I'm going to drag it. You might have to do that, Isaiah. I can't really click because all I see is my little bobblehead there. There you go. And then if you expand that, perfect. And the reason that I wanted to show you this today, yes, that is a little intense and seemed kind of more the intermediate, but I want to show you how another way to add a field versus using the little box on the corner there. So if over on the left-hand side, if you hit data sets right here, that's actually going to expand again that list of available fields. So go ahead and let's just add customer address again. And then you can drag and drop right in that text box.
Cool.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to make sure to show you today, because I think that's pretty cool. But you can't do a drag and drop when you're in a table. Okay.
Great information.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now that we customized that report, let's go ahead and save it. Okay, you got it saved?
Yes.
And I will share my screen and we'll go back to the PowerPoint here and move on to the next steps. Okay, so in this slide, I did actually include the link to download the Microsoft Report Builder. But if you just Google download Microsoft Report Builder, it should pop up. Okay. So we got through step 1 and step 2. How do you feel, Isaiah? Was it hard?
It wasn't hard at all. I actually enjoyed it.
Okay. That's typically the hard part, right? The customizing, but now that that's over, let's import our layouts and then test them to be sure that they're exactly how we want them. Okay, so to import the layout, just like the slide shows here, we would go back to our custom report layout screen and then select the row that we renamed, right? Our version of the layout. And then at the top, hit layout and import layout and choose our layout, whether it was and you would do it the same way if it's Word or RDLC, okay? To test, we would, again, with our line or our row selected, we would hit process and then run report and enter a sales order number to test it. We could then see our imported changes, which that's pretty cool because we can test and do these changes on the fly while you know, the customer service team is using or continuing to enter orders. It doesn't stop any of BC's functionality from happening. Okay. Assuming that everything looks as intended in the layout, we would then assign our custom layout to use by first ensuring our report number is in that assigned report selection section. We would then search report layout selection, enter the report number in the list search, and here change the layout type to custom layout, and then we would select our layout. After this step, you can confirm the new layout is working by running the report using your standard process. No need to log in or log back out, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our demo for steps 3 and 4 for both our RDLC and Word layouts. So Isaiah, if you want to share your screen again.
Yes.
I'm sorry I'm putting you in the hot seat today.
I enjoy the hot seat.
Okay, so which one do you want to do first, Word or RDLC?
Let's do the RDLC.
Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and select your row there. Yep. And go to the top and hit layout, import layout. Yep. Go ahead and choose. And here you'll want to find where you saved your layout. Perfect. Okay, so the layout imported. So go ahead and because you're still on, you still have that row selected, go ahead and process and run report. Okay, so in this filter here, do you remember the sales order number we were looking at?
Yes, I do.
Are you sure? You need to make sure you have your SO number in front of it. There we go. Ta-da! Look at that. We have our highlighting down at the bottom. We have both, right, our customers. One is highlighted, or I'm sorry, one is bold and the font has been changed. And then the other one that we added in the middle is there as well. So that's your custom layout. Look at that, your first one. Woohoo!
Yay!
Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing for your Microsoft Word. Perfect. Okay, then go ahead and run the report. Yay. Same thing. We've got our highlighting there and the bold customer name at the top, and then the text box that we added. Now you see how that text box has the border around it. You could remove that border just by selecting the text box and then hitting no border, just like you would in Word. Okay. So which one of these versions do you like better, Isaiah?
For now, I like Word, but as I get more comfortable, RDLC is going to be the one that I lean towards.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so if you like the Word version better, let's go ahead and we're going to assign that version to our production, okay? So from here, yep, we're going to go to Report Selection. Yep. And look at you, you're already a step ahead of me. You went to Report Layout Selection. Typically what I would do is go to Report Selection Sales, but it's more of just a verification that that report number 1305 is what's being used. So
There we go.
perfect. Okay, so at the top there under usage, so right now that's the report ID 1304 is what would be assigned to a sales quote. So we're going to just go down to order and confirm that 1305 is what we're using, which I know we already did this, but that's just typically my steps is to verify that's still accurate. Okay, so then you could go to your search again and hit report layout selection, which you're there, and then use the magnifying glass to search your report number. So you could enter 1305. Okay, so right now this says that for this report ID, the layout that's being used, the layout type is Word, and we're using the standard layout, the built-in BC layout. But we're going to change the layout type from Word. If you click on underneath the layout type, just click right beside Word. Yep, you'll see you'll get the drop down, and we're gonna change this to custom layout. And then this is a familiar screen, right? Now you'll see all of the layouts that we have available. So go ahead and choose your Word layout. Perfect. Okay, so now you went ahead and you changed it to use your version of the layout. Okay, so let's go back to our sales orders. And this is where, once you would get to this step, this is assigning the layout, and this is where users would then see your new layout when they run the report. Okay, so let's just confirm. Ta-da! Congratulations, you did it. It wasn't hard, right?
It was not hard at all.
Okay. So I am going to take back over. and share my screen. Okay. The one thing I did want to point out that I forgot when we were in our demo is with Microsoft Word, you do need to remember to exit out or close Word before importing. It will not allow you, even if you save, it will not allow you to import if that Word layout is open. RDLC, however, you can change or you can save and then import while your that report is open in RDLC, which is kind of cool. Another tip that I like to use is just like Isaiah changed the fill color of the field for our totals at the bottom. I like to do that for like if there's a field where I'm not really sure what is pulling into the sales order from BC, I will highlight or use the fill to color that box a weird color or make the font strange or change the font color and then run the report so I can try to piece together what field it's pulling from BC based on the value that's in that sales order. Congratulations, woohoo!
Yay!
Did it. That was really fun. I added this slide today just as some basic troubleshooting. Again, I know I'm a broken record, but one thing, if you go to run the report and it's not working properly, check to make sure the correct report ID is assigned or selected, and then make sure your layout is assigned. That's very important. And again, sometimes I get in the flow of making changes and testing, and then I forget to assign it and wonder where the heck is my changes. Well, it's because I didn't assign my layout. And when importing your custom layout, did you remember to save? That's another big one, especially with RDLC, because you don't have to close it before importing. Just make sure that you remember to hit save. Okay, so here's some of our references for today. A lot of it was from the Microsoft Learn. So feel free to check out those sites for additional information.
All right, thank you, Krystle and Isaiah. We do have a couple of questions in the questions box. So Krystle, would you like to address the first one?
Yeah, I actually, it looks like I can only see one at a time for some strange reason. I do know that there was one earlier that Word, it was more of a statement that Microsoft Word is more kind of a what you see is what you get. And that definitely is correct. What you see on your Word template is what you get. You don't have the capabilities to do like the expressions in Word like you would in RDLC, which kind of help with those situations like if this, then that, right? Like if you want the column to show when a certain parameter is met, then show the field, otherwise hide the field. Those sorts of things can be done in RDLC. But again, those are more of like a intermediate or advanced class. So for the basics, Word would have you covered for sure. I did see Matt's question, will you be showing how line items go in a repeat controller? So the line items are part of the table, like we had mentioned in our demo, and those are a little bit more of an intermediate or advanced learning or training. because of how the repeaters work, they're a little finicky, and you need to set up groupings. So Matt, that would be something, you know, if you know, could reach out to me, or I could send you an email, and we could set up a time to go over any specific questions you have about that. Otherwise, Isaiah and I do plan on doing an intermediate class sometime in the future. I'm just not sure when at this point. And Matt's other question, I'm confused regarding the report, Microsoft Report Builder. It seems to only open RDL files. Did I miss something for the presentation? Nope, you're correct. It does open the RDL files. I sometimes call it RDLC, but it opens the RDL files for sure. Okay, so there's another question. In custom report layouts, what is the difference between import layout and update layout? So that's a really good question, Matt. Update layout is something that you would need to use after a developer makes a change to the code and or to the existing layout that's there. Then you would do the update layout to pull in that specific code change. So if you're making changes, you know, like your font or your colors by following the steps that we used, you would not need to use the update layout at all. It would just be, you would import your layout. Hopefully that answered your question. I don't see any others at this time. Isaiah, did I miss any? Like I said, I can only see, I have a really teeny tiny line to view all the questions for some reason.
No, it looks like you've got all the questions.
Okay. And Matt, you had some good ones. Thank you. Oh, I did see one from, oh no, Anita had asked about the RDL files. Yeah, good questions, guys. Yeah, and for sure, you know, I would be available to help with any other questions. Just, you can reach out to me at kconrad@innovia.com, and I'd be happy to work with you on any special situations that you have, or, you know, any of the other basic kind of font changes, coloring, adding or removing fields, any of that good stuff, if you just reach out.
All right, thank you, Krystle and Isaiah.
Absolutely.
I did put your email address in the chat, so if anybody does need additional questions about your issue, you can reach out to Krystle herself, and she'll be more than happy to address those.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you, Krystle and Isaiah, for the presentation, and to everyone on our webinar today. Thank you for taking the time out to join us. And if you're watching on demand, we thank you for watching this as well. And also, we do have more events coming up, and you can visit our events page at innovia.com/events. We do have a training workshop page, and that's innovia.com/workshops. We have a variety of workshops for you to choose from. So check out all the ones that we have to offer and select which one best fits your role. And if you haven't heard our latest Innovia Conversation podcast, we have a library of episodes for you to listen to, and you can learn more on our podcast page, and that's innovia.com/podcast. So browse through our selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when those new episodes air. And we do have our customer conference information up on our conference page for 2023. You can check all the details out at innovia.com/conferences. We will be in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona at the Scottsdale Plaza. So check out those details and register so that way you are well informed and have that out of the way before the new year comes. All right, well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon on another Innovia webinar. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.